We'll be seeing you here in The Fight That Never Ends. I know the title changed from California Love to The Fight That Never Ends. How was the premise originally prompted to you?
Um, I mean, it was pretty much told me it was a love story. Like we're doing like Titanic in the hood. I'm like, all right, I'm sold. But yeah, no. I would actually got to meet the title character for the female for Joanne Beck,
Hmm.
and she invited me, and she had like I don't know, like three or four like guys from like Hoover Crip that was there as producers on the project with a director, and they're like, can you play this role? I'm like, well, I grew up in Crenshaw. Um, some people know that I have some, gang affiliated past, and they told me that Nipsey was slated for the role,
Oh.
and I'd be carrying the torch, at the project. So, just representing South Central LA, and knowing how much this story means to everybody, and having like the heartbeat that it has right now, what's going on in the world. I think we have like a phenomenal, phenomenal film.
It is based on a true story. So, did they give you much background on this character as well, and on the true story that you'll be projecting?
Yeah, so it was kind of nice because Joanne was there, and obviously she was with Jay Hoover, who's my character, and his daughters were there, and then all of his like partners that was there that he grew up with, that was like running the streets with him, were all there on set. So I had a lot of resources, but definitely just wanted to put my own sort of spin on it. Just being the kind of guy that I that I am, and the actor that I am, and yeah, I just think that the connection between me and Krista Allen was exceptional, and people are gonna love the chemistry that we have on this film.
I was going to say, you guys have such fire chemistry on this. Was there an instant connection between the two of you? Did you have to do a chemistry read for this?
I think that us being from sort of like opposite walks of life kind of was more the attraction. When I'm thinking about films where like the guy and the girl are from like the opposite sides of like the road, there's always going to be that sort of like kismic, sort of like magnetic attraction. And I think that Chris and I definitely had that. And over time, we became closer on the film, and with the romance scenes and all the things that are happening in the drama, I think it just brought us really close together. And I got very, very close to her. Love her.
This is based on events that take place during kind of the LA riots. Did you have to do any research on that time period?
I'm a native of Los Angeles, so when the riots were happening, they were, in my neighborhood down the street from my house. So I remember those times, like riding in convertible cars with my grandmother, going through the LA riots and seeing all the sort of like destruction and upheaval, and people trying to figure out how to get on the right side of justice. So I think I sort of already had that fuel in me, and then just sort of like keeping that sort of love story going, while handling that and managing that was my take.
There's so many memorable scenes in this. I really feel like though LA is kind of another character almost as well in this, since it does take place in that area. What is How does the scenery and the location kind of take on another role in the movie?
I think that Preston Whitmore, the director, did a great job with that. I think that especially, 90s California, Southern California, I mean, it was in every rap song, whether it was Tupac or Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre, like that sort of like time period in music and culture was identified through like the streets of Los Angeles. And I think that, there's a bunch of headlines that ran during that time that still sort of like carry the weight of nostalgia to this day. Be it the Biggie Smalls storyline, the Snoop Dogg, all these iconic sort of like superheroes, and culture. And then he just was able to capture all that, with the fashion, the music, the intention, the relatability, even just sound like the lighting, the way that the city looks. It's kind of like a character.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I like that you're a movie buff. That's cool.
There, as I mentioned, a number of really standout scenes in this. Was there one in particular that you found the most challenging, or one in particular that really is one that holds a special place in your heart?
I think the bathtub scene holds like a special place in my heart, just because that was a scene that, I'm sure that the crew, everyone could have been a little bit apprehensive about how that's going to play out. And I remember just like sliding in the bathtub, like Chris is just sliding in there with me, and just having like this the smoothest, like most like touching scene. So that's like probably the one that hits me the most.
What do you think it is about the fight that never ends that you really want people to take to heart?
I think the best part about the film, I mean, aside from just the love story, I think the love story is really important. You know, you don't have any control of who you fall in love with. And sometimes, your family has a hard time of truly accepting like your feelings about them versus the persona of who they are. So
Mm,
I think that's like the first thing. And then the second thing is that, we live in a big community, and it's really the coming together that's really where the change begins. So we sort of have both of those, like the interpersonal part with the family, accepting people for who they are, and then the change that we all want to see, which is like essentially like full equality.
it's a very beautiful sentiment. I hope that people really do take that from this film. I think that a lot of people will learn a little bit more about racial injustice during that time period and maybe take some action and try to be more loving in this world.
I think that like, young people, all across like the world know what it's like to be like the person that I'm in love with is the person that my father or my mom does not want to see me with. Um, and then there's sort of like that like tug of war of your heart of like, do I deny how my feelings are and stay with my family, or do I sort of abandon my family and go
Mm,
to where my heart lies? I think everyone
can
battles
relate to
that
it.
tug of war. Yeah. So I think that's the one thing that people can be like, that's pulling on my heartstrings. I relate to that.
What are the other projects you've been busy working on lately?
Um, I have another narcotic drama television narrative that I'm doing. It's called No Turning Back. I play another gangster in that movie. Got my hair cornrowed and stuff. Takes place in Newburgh, New York. And then I have another film or television called Harlem that's coming out.
Yeah, I heard of that one.
Yeah, Harlem. It's with Amazon and Amy Poehler, Pharrell Williams, and the producers on the project, and Whoopi Goldberg's in it. And then Tracy Oliver is our showrunner. She's amazing. She's a great writer too, so I love to work with her.
What would you like to say then to everyone who continue to be such fans and supporters of the wonderful work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, just sit back, get your popcorn and your chocolate, sit in front of the boob tube, and watch all my movies. It's great when people come up to me in public, whether I'm walking through the train station or walking through the airport or out pumping gas. People are always walking up like, "Yo, I loved you in that movie. Like you were so great." So that's very, very encouraging, and it's definitely fuel for the fire to keep you going. So go out and see this movie, The Fight That Never Ends. It's outstanding. And then when you see me in the street, I'm out here hugging grandparents and kissing babies and taking photos. So we'll have some selfie time.